Video games, from trivial frivolity to demonic influence, blockbuster phenomenon, or genuine works of art. Whatever your experience, video games are part of the cultural zeitgeist, and you probably have a special connection with at least one of them. That may be catching your first Pokemon as a snot-nosed 7-year-old, or picking up some obscure PS2 game that you really shouldn't have been playing. Over the next few weeks, we will play games submitted by these beautiful people. You'll get my thoughts and first impressions live. Then, we'll have that streamer on the show to discuss what makes those games so special to them. I hope you will join me on this journey to discover the experiences and emotions that helped us all form core memories.
Okay, let's see.
No worries.
Oop.
How we feeling tonight, chat? We ready for some core memories? I got a lot of shit to say.
Ooh,
Sorry. Am I trying to keep it PG here?
No, fuck no. How did I get? Yeah. Fuck yeah, exactly. Have you seen the show? Is this your first time here?
I'm VIP'd in your chat, I believe.
He is, yes, he is VIP'd. Well, hey guys, welcome everybody. Welcome Vitamin Pug to the show. As a reminder, alerts are off, so if you do some alerts, I can't hear it. Although hi Ethan Viz, how are you? Well, Pug, yesterday we sat down and we played Hades. I've been asking streamers to really give me a game that they're passionate about. A game that really says, like, oh, this is me. And when I explained that concept to you, you almost immediately was like, Hades. Can you tell me the rationale behind that? Why Hades?
I played a little bit of the game in preparation to try to capture sort of the thesis of like why it is that I picked this game.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that what I landed on is Hades to me represents sort of a piece of aging and growing up that was very instrumental to, you know, my mid-20s. And that is because I didn't ever really think I could love a video game as much as the video games that I loved growing up as a child. But then Hades took the throne over my childhood favorite games.
Oh, wow.
And that's because, and I say this with 100% genuine honesty, Hades is the best video game ever made.
Okay, yeah. So I love that, and what I'm hearing is that like you might have had this moment where you were like, you know what, video games are for kids, man, and I'm an adult. I'm transforming into like my adult life. I should maybe move past that.
Yeah, I think it would be a little bit of that. I think that I struggled with thinking like maybe I had looked at things with rose-colored glasses for so long, and I had maybe not had an experience with video games in years and years that like really lived up to what led me to loving video games my entire life.
Yeah.
And for me, when I first got into Hades, it just completely, absolutely sucked me in for a variety of reasons. And it eventually became the game I've probably played the most of, and I would put it above every other game because I've got a Hades mouse pad right here. I got some Hades art in my living room. I meant to fucking wear my shit, but I didn't do it.
Yeah, show me. While you're doing that, I'm gonna do this, guys. If you haven't already, go check out publish. Go check out Vitamin Pug's Fourth Wall, where you can get a snail bear sticker like I have on my face right now. It's so sweet. It's so cute. And I love snails. You guys know this. I love snails. I got one on my arm.
I can't find the thing I was looking for.
Ah.
Anyway, point is, to me, I've talked a lot recently publicly on the internet about my transformation with, or like my relationship with making things and, you know, being a creative person. And I think Hades did for me with video games what, you know, being on Twitch has done for like my sense of self and my sense of creation. And that's a big swing, I gotta say. That's I'm making a big statement there, but Hades kind of taught me that I could still find joy in things when things seem not feasible. I don't know. Does that make some sense?
It does, and like I got to be completely honest with you, and I hope you take this as the, you know, from the heart where it is coming from. But just like watching your streams and, you know, getting to know you, you know, via watching your streams and via Shogundi, you seem to be like a very sentimental person. I would say
absolutely.
that. And so like the fact that you would have such a connection to a game just kind of highlights that. And that's exactly what I'm looking for. So
oh, sorry, go ahead.
no, please.
I was just going to say that, like, there's so many facets to why I love this game, but that's probably at the heart of it. It showed me that I could, like, still, I don't know. Maybe I had, like, lost faith that I would ever find something that, like, felt so good to me.
Yeah.
And I love video games, so, like, and my taste has shifted over the years. I don't play a lot of multiplayer games. I get my social interaction in via Twitch. Like, I don't really need to, like, I mostly like, and I'm kind of a casual gamer at this point. I like games that I can take a little bit, like just a little chunk, just, you know, pop in 15, not 15, but, you know, half an hour or so, and I'm in and out, and that's good. That's sometimes all I really need.
We're all busy.
But then there are games.
It's hard to dig into, you know, an epic 80-hour adventure that you have to keep up with, you know.
Yeah. And I think a big part of that mentality for me is also with huge open world games, it takes a while to, like, get to the fun part. And
yes,
Hades is a game that I was having fun within the first 30 seconds of booting it up.
yeah, it's great.
Hades, very tactile, feels really good to play. And it was fun from the get-go.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you mentioned that Hades replaced other games as your favorites. What did it replace?
So I think I would say like, there's a lot of video games I really, really love, but the ones I hold in the highest regard are the first BioShock.
Oh, yeah.
Which, I mean, not an uncommon opinion. A game is a masterpiece in storytelling, and yeah, absolutely. I like every little teenager who loved BioShock, I wanted the wrist tattoos and everything. I never actually did it, thank God I didn't. And then the other one would be Rockstar Games' Bully.
Oh, yes. I remember you talked about maybe doing Bully.
I do love Bully quite a bit. But all three of these games are completely different.
Yeah.
And Hades kind of sparked a new thing. I love a roguelike now. Hades was a big part of me realizing that, but Hades does it better than a lot of other games too, so it's kind of in its own class. But like I said, I'm more of a casual gamer now, but like sometimes when a game really hooks me, I'll play, 8-9 hours straight sometimes. Like it'll happen every now and again.
Yeah.
That happened to me with Spiritfarer, which is a game that you were recommending to me.
You're welcome.
Which I gotta get back in there, man. I gotta get back in Spiritfarer. I've been busy. I haven't been able to play.
Take it in chunks if you don't want to cry too much.
But the thing is, I kind of do want to cry,
It
I
helps.
think that's not
It helps
not
sometimes.
unheard of.
Well, so it sounds like you've really spent a lot of time and a lot of effort, and I feel like you touched on this in chat yesterday. But you're pretty good at Hades.
Okay, so I'm not bad at Hades, I would say, but I wouldn't say I'm like incredible at Hades. That being said, it's the only game I have a submitted speedrun to speedrun.com on.
You do, yeah, and I think I have that ready right here. Look at this.
Yeah, you can play that if you want. I don't really care if you play the speedrun. So this pertains to specifically my
yeah, talk to me about this.
the speed. Like this is kind of when I started speedrunning. You can see this is the log of all my runs.
Okay.
I was right around here. I was really trying to hit sub 10. I was trying to get under 10 minutes in game time.
Okay.
And you can just see, pretty inconsistent, but I was getting a little close.
Yeah.
And then sort of soon here, you'll probably see, yeah, I managed an 837 out of nowhere.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And then, yeah, so after that, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm on a little bit of a delay. So hit that 837, and then after a little bit there, I was like, well, maybe I should start recording some of these, so in case I hit something good,
Yeah.
then I can actually, submit it. And then like, God, probably only like, I right around here, wherever I'm probably a little late, but I started recording runs, and I had recorded maybe 5 or 6 runs.
Mm-hmm.
And then that is when I hit my personal best, and I had been recording. I luckily shaved an entire minute off of my my best time.
Oh, that is fantastic. Well,
I don't know. Watching it back, I had really crazy good RNG, and I don't know if I'd be able to replicate it. But maybe I will try to start doing some more speedrunning on my show at some point.
Well, and so with Hades, as somebody who's played many hours of it, and you guys saw yesterday, the game varies a lot on which weapon you pick, on which gods you align to, etc., etc. What's your favorite? Do you have a favorite build?
I do have a favorite build. My favorite build, it's the build I speedrun with, which is it's the shield, and it is the aspect of Beowulf. And with the aspect of Beowulf, you can load your cast charges into your bull rush.
Okay.
And they detonate upon impact. So the flow of it is basically you're loading all your casts into your rush, then you're rushing into hopefully a cluster of enemies to do massive damage. And this might make me sound even less good at Hades, but there's a bug within the main strat of playing that kind of build, in that there's a duo boon between Artemis and Poseidon called Mirage Shot, where it does a secondary cast alongside your regular cast, and it's supposed to do 30% damage of your regular cast. The game is bugged, and they know this, and it's never been fixed. The secondary shot does 100% damage instead of 30. Wow. Essentially, you're building to that point in which you do double damage.
Wow. Well, so it sounds like you have your strat down. You sound like you know exactly what you want to do going in. So would you say like your favorite gods or characters, not thematically but mechanically, would be Artemis and Poseidon?
Artemis for sure.
Yeah.
Artemis has some really crazy... Artemis isn't very good on her own. I'll say that. Mm-hmm. Depending on what you're doing, she's much better as like a supplementary part of your build.
Okay.
But in terms of like effect stuff, I get down with. I think Zeus is a lot of fun. The lightning stuff can be a lot of fun. I do like Demeter has some really fun stuff too.
Yeah.
Specifically, I really like doing very memey runs with Demeter's. I think it's her cast has a laser, and you can make some pretty crazy cast builds where you end up having just like regenerating lasers that last for like 15 seconds each. Eventually, the whole map is just covered with lasers. And you can get Artemis's duo with that to have the lasers autofocus on any nearby enemy.
Oh wow!
So it's very very memey, very silly, but man, I've played this game so much. I've got 260 some odd hours on Steam, and then I also have it on my Switch, which I probably put a good 80 hours into.
Yeah.
I really love this game, and I think I was saying something about it in your chat while you were playing yesterday that I think I compared it to Hollow Knight in that it's a game that continually surprises you and shows you that it's just got so much more to offer.
Yes.
And I think that it's sort of a big success story for early access, because I think the reason that this game is so good is because it was in early access for such a long time.
Okay.
And they're just getting feedback from all the people playing it, and I got to it after 1.0. Like I didn't play Hades in early access, so I had the full experience from the get-go, and goddamn, it is just immaculate. I love this game.
Yeah, it's super tight, and I think that's probably from input from the community. So yeah, it's really important to have beta testers, and then I suppose alpha testers, which everybody in the world became in early access. Well, we talked about which gods you like for their skills. Design only, which gods do you go with?
I was wondering when this conversation was going to come up. I any and all, I will say. And all the thing is, I'm maybe more than the gods even. I'm a really big fan of the like side characters in this game. I really love you. You reacted very. I was happy when you got to the Sisyphus room and you were just like, "There he is." I was like, "Yes, there he fucking is."
Oh, he's just so like. You want to just grab his little cheeks and go like, "I know you're big, but you're so fucking sweet."
Yes, absolutely. And like the role that those characters play in the game is kind of designed so that you're excited when you get to those rooms. They give you rewards.
Yes.
Sometimes they help advance quest lines and like storylines within the game.
Yes.
One thing we haven't really touched on is the story building in this game, which is so interestingly done in that roguelikes are built around making decisions. But this game, this game does differently is it gives you decisions pertaining to. So, like, a lot of times you're picking between, do you want a power up or do you want more money?
Yeah.
But then sometimes it throws you like, maybe you should go in this room so you can talk to this character that the person back in the overworld wants you to talk to, so that you can like see what's happening there.
Yeah, it kind of advanced that story a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's certain points in the game that like you really need to kind of do those things to progress. You get unlockables for doing certain quest things. Like one specific thing I could think of is in Achilles' quest line. Once you get to a certain level of friendship with Achilles, he gives you I don't remember what it's called, but it's in your menu. You can look at all of the different power-ups in the game.
Yes.
And once you have that, you can start really like trying to plan your build on any given run. And like that's kind of like, if you're taking it seriously to some degree, you need that. You need to be able to look at all those things. Yeah, I mean, sure, you could open the Wikipedia page, but like it's nice to be able to reference it in the game.
Yeah, absolutely. I think more games should do that. And I think it's great that you mentioned story, because it really is one of the first, if not only games, I'm sure there are other games out there, but definitely the biggest game to make the roguelike part of the story. Like, it's so important to the story. There's a reason and he's going back and doing it again. It's just so seamless.
Yes, absolutely. And I think that kind of, it's kind of got like a time loop movie thing going on, kind of a Groundhog's Day situation. And they play it very like funny, like people will give you smart ass comments about like dying and like losing the last run, and then like the character will even like, you'll get to a new boss and the character will say like, wow, I've never been here. And it's just like these little nods that kind of break the fourth wall in a really fun way.
But in a believable way.
Right, it's believable, and it's like you're in this story. Like it's like, yeah, I did that. Like it's sure you're playing as a Olympian god and whatever, but it's acknowledging your own plight as the player in a way.
Yes. Yeah.
It's incredible stuff.
Yeah, man. that is absolutely fantastic. Yeah, and like Ethan just pointed out, when you see Meg for like the 15th time, and she's just like, we're really gonna keep doing this. Like, you're gonna die or I'm gonna die, and we're gonna be back here in another another 5 minutes. It's super fun. Have you met anybody else that is close to your level on fandom from Hades, with Hades?
Yeah, I have met a couple of people. One of them, my cousin got really into it. He's also a big roguelike fan, and he's a huge Binding of Isaac fan, which also a great game.
Yeah.
But he got pretty into Hades, but not to the level I did. I will say I met like a friend of a friend, who I found out that she was into Hades, and we had some pretty lengthy conversations about it. And I would say she is probably just as excited about it as I am.
Yeah. It's always nice to meet those people. I think you're the first person that I have mentioned Hollow Knight around, and you're like, yeah, no, the Radiance, and I'm like, oh, he gets it. Instead of somebody just going like, yeah, bug game.
Yeah, it's Hollow Knight is great. I admittedly have not beaten Hollow Knight, but I've played so much of that game.
Yeah. It's worth it.
It's gorgeous. I love a success story of a small team. Hades is also kind of the same case. Supergiant's not that big of a team. They've got some really interesting behind the scenes stuff, but Hollow Knight, Team Cherry was what, 3 people, something like that?
3 people plus a composer.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh my god, and the music. And that's I would say Hollow Knight also shares something with Hades in that, like, there's nothing I don't love about it. Like, everything is so dialed in and perfect.
Yeah.
The music, the atmosphere, the writing, the voice acting. Dude, the voice acting in Hades is unbelievable.
I know, it's really good. Like, they didn't have to voice act that well. The character art didn't have to be so well. Like, I am absolutely stunned. My favorite design is Dionysus. I may be saying that incorrectly. The party god. But like, my man's is just dripping with charisma, and he really like embodies to me this idea of like comfortable masculinity. You know what I mean? Like, like,
I love that.
He's like out and about. He's a party. He's a chill guy. But yeah, I really, the art, the voice acting. Again, they didn't even have to voice act it. It would still be a 10 out of 10 game if they didn't.
Right. They really didn't, and they went there, and I think it makes it so much better. Honestly, like they didn't have to, but thank God that they did. I'm realizing I never answered your question about who is my favorite design. And it's interesting to me the phrasing you used of like healthy masculinity regarding Dionysus. It's like I think that I've made a few jokes, and like it's not an uncommon thing within the Hades fandom that everybody is just like, yes, every character is so freaking hot, dude. They're all really hot, but like it's done in a very tasteful way, and also like the game has queer romance in it, which makes sense because Greek mythology, they're just fucking everybody. So like, it makes sense, and you could like, it does feel like it has like a sensitive touch in. These are all gods. They should be beautiful because they're ethereal beings.
Of course,
but like, they all have really unique designs to them, and they all feel so unique, and they're all really hot. They're all just so fucking hot, and they also sound really good.
So who's your favorite design, Pug? You have to pick one.
I do. Okay, so I mean, like, I love Artemis all around, and like, I love her design. Love the shiny thighs.
Yeah, it's the glistening thighs, isn't it?
I think that in terms of character model, just in general, I might go Chaos. Okay. I think Chaos has a really cool design, specifically regards to like what Chaos is.
Yeah.
And
if I may, on an aside here, what a cool reveal. Right? Like, just as you're getting comfortable with the world and you're like, okay, I'm meeting Greek gods and like legends from Greek myths. Okay, I think I've kind of understanding what this game is going to throw at me. And then they throw chaos at you.
Mm-hmm.
And you're just as confused and intrigued as Zagreus.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, it's incredible just like how many layers they continually peel back in this game. Mm-hmm. And the way that like playing the game versus being in the overworld are like working in tandem with each other.
Yes.
Is what really sucks a lot of people in, myself included. Because I've heard so many people talk about this game and say that like when you die in this game, sure, you're bummed out. You're a little mad that you died, but mechanically it was probably your fault. You probably got hit by something.
Yeah.
This game is very tightly designed, and it feels fair, but also that moment that you die, you have this moment where you're like, oh, well, now I can go talk to all the people and see what's going on with them, and then maybe use some of these resources that I gathered on this last run to advance some storylines, and maybe unlock some new stuff to make my next run better.
It's really cool. I was thinking about last night when I was playing how like comfortable and almost like a homecoming it feels to crawl out of that pit and see Kronos there every time. Go talk to him. How you doing? And Hades is always behind the desk. Cerberus is always there. Yeah, it feels good.
Yeah, and you can pet the dog, dude. You can pet the fucking dog.
10 out of 10. You can pet the three-headed hellhound. Fantastic.
Absolutely fantastic. And I mean, I do love Hades' design himself too. He's and his voice is just incredible. I know you probably have a little bit of a voice boner. You and Shogundi seem like you both really get a kick out of some real nice, deep voices.
Yes. Yeah, we really like doing that. In the this is a tangent, I know, but in our D&D game that we play together, we both picked old man characters. So now we're just like the old men at the table. So it's fun to like bust out that old man voice.
I'm kind of imagining the two old guys from the Muppets.
Kinda, a little bit. Yeah, a little bit. He's a sweet old man though. I'm the crotchety old man. When talking about living in the world, I think this is a really fun concept. If you, Vitamin Pug, got a day to live in the world and you knew you could help Zagreus in any way, what role would you like to play?
Well, okay, I think I would like to not so much give like a power up, but a mechanic within this game is keepsakes or trinkets, if you will.
Yeah.
You can kind of see it on the screen over there.
Yes.
There's a little treasure case by all the weapons, and that's where your keepsakes are stored. Each of these keepsakes does a different thing for you at the start of your run. So if you take a keepsake from a god, you will get one of their power-ups. So that's how you can start your build, basically. And I think I would like to offer Zagreus a keepsake.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what it would do. That's I didn't think that far ahead, but I think that if I were there, I'd like to give him a little something to remember me by, you know?
And it's really cool that every character you can talk to has one. Even Skelly, the skeleton that is paid to let you.
Skelly.
He's paid to let you beat him up.
Did you know the voice actor of Skelly is the same voice actor of Zagreus?
Really? That's
and additionally,
interesting.
did you know that guy's name is Darren Korb and also did all the composition of the music for this game?
Really? A man of many talents. Could you imagine being the main voice actor and doing all the music? What a guy.
It's crazy.
I'll have to check out his work. I
think he did all of the Supergiant soundtracks, if I'm not mistaken, or at least everything leading up to Hades.
Wow. That's pretty impressive.
Just so much talent on this team, and like I said, I had been trapped in this mindset of like nothing is ever going to hit the same as video games that I played when I was growing up.
Yeah.
And when I got into Hades, man, it just took over my entire life. Like,
yeah.
I've 100%ed this game. I did want to talk about that because in talking about keepsakes, there is an achievement that you have to max rank every single keepsake in the game. And that is the last achievement that I got in this game. It took me fucking forever, and it was kind of miserable, if I'm being completely honest. Because some of those keepsakes you just don't want to use.
Yeah. You just have, any specific ones that you absolutely would never want to use?
Oh man, I need to pull them up here. There's just it really depends on your own play style, but like I don't tend to take things like, I mean, maybe I took them a little bit earlier on into playing, but like additional health or like some people are real big fans of like increase your dodge chance. I don't really go for that kind of stuff. A lot of times I'm basing it more on trying to make a specific build. So usually for the first two worlds, I'm picking god boons.
Okay.
And then within like my later, I like, there's one, I think it's called the Evergreen Acorn.
Yes.
You don't take damage for the first 5 hits from bosses.
Oh, that's sick.
And that's pretty useful. Especially within the last couple of worlds, because those boss fights are a little dicey, depending on how powerful you are at that point.
Do you have a favorite stage?
Ooh.
I know there's like 3 main levels and then like a boss fight at the end.
So yeah, there's 4 worlds technically, if you consider the last stage like a world, but it's kind of like a little mini game before you get to the last boss almost.
Yeah.
It's tricky because there's things I love about all of them, and there's things I don't love about all of them. There's less that I wouldn't pick Asphodel, which is the lava world, because I step in the lava all the time because I'm a dumbass, and it does damage, and I hate it. Elysium is really pretty, and I remember the first time getting to that world, and like I was like, that was one of those moments that it's just like the game just keeps peeling back and proves that it has so much more to do and show you, and and all the worlds have their own unique enemies and stuff in certain ways that it keeps it so nice and varied. I think I don't know. I really do love Tartarus, which is the first world, what we're watching right now. Because I love Sisyphus and I love Megara. There's something about like there's great character interactions throughout this whole game in many regards, but there's something about Zagreus and Meg that's just like, that's it. Like that's the meat and potatoes of like. I don't think that there's quite. I mean, you could make the case that Zagreus and Thanatos have like this interesting chemistry, but because she is the first boss, you see her so often that it like kind of cements her as more important to the storyline for some reason. At least it did for me.
Yeah, and she starts out as this person that you're like, oh, Megaron, I'm gonna get you next, and then it becomes a lot more. You start to feel for her and her plight, and you know what she's got going on, because sure. Oh, poor Zagreus. He has to climb through, but she has to wait here for you every time.
Right. Yep.
It's not all about you, Zag. Yeah, I think that's super awesome. I personally I hate the second level. Asphodel.
Is it because of the lava?
It's because of the lava. It's not that I don't hate it thematically. I think that like it is the hardest one to get through. For me, I feel like I can get through the first level pretty easily, and then if I make it to Elysium, I feel pretty good and can usually make it to the boss. But that second stage just feels like such a stall for me.
Yeah. That's fair. I think that the second stage has some of the most annoying enemies, but also Elysium has some pretty annoying enemies. In Elysium, the regenerating enemies really bug the shit out of me. Asphodel, it's hard. Okay, so I have to kind of like part the speed running side of myself and like the regular gaming side of myself with this game, because in terms of speed running this game, I can get through Asphodel pretty quickly. And I think that's because mechanically it kind of is more in your favor to give you what are called free rooms, so like item shops, story character rooms. The way Hades works mechanically in terms of the floor and the levels is each level has a set amount of rooms. And item shops, chaos rooms, story rooms, those all count as a room. So they, instead of playing a full encounter like you're fighting enemies in a room, if you take an item shop, it counts towards that total of rooms to progress to the next. So when you're speedrunning this game, you want to make decisions that are... You always want to take a chaos if you can. You always want to take an item shop. Like, no matter... Like, even if you don't have coins to buy anything, you still take it because it gets you that much closer and you're not burning time on getting further, I guess. And I think Asphodel allows for you to get more of those opportunities, because there's a lot of rooms in Asphodel that have like 3 exits as opposed to 2, or sometimes 1.
Yeah, that's true.
But that doesn't mean I love Asphodel. Like I said, I don't. I step in the lava all the time and I burn myself. And
if it's not lava, it's a bomb that I'm stepping on, because I just wasn't keeping up with where the bombs were. That's probably my biggest crux to the game, personally. Well, you know, since you have played so much of the game and you have sounds like a very deep understanding of how it works, is there anything about the game that you would change?
That's an interesting question. I guess well, going back to something I said earlier within that, it's called the Codex. I just remembered it's called the Codex, the thing that Achilles gives you.
Yep.
Where you can access the list of powers.
That's it.
I think there maybe should be an option to just have that automatically. Because that's a very helpful resource, especially if you don't... Like, if you're not having fun with this game because you can't figure out what is, like, the style of play you want and it's not hooking you, I don't think you may get to that point where you can unlock that.
Yeah.
So I think that it's sort of gatekeepy in a way that I don't love. That being said, I do think it's two sides of the same coin, because I think that it's pretty cool that is like, hey, you have to play the game and get invested in the story to get the things that are gonna help you further along. Because I remember getting to that point, I unlocked that thing and I opened it and I was like, oh my god. I was like, it was like looking up at the pearly gates. I was like, I was like, this unlocks everything for me.
Like, this is the information I was looking for.
Right. So, like, I have conflicting feelings about that, but I do think that it is, like, I feel like so many people probably played this game and fell off, and that would have been a tool that would have helped a lot of people continue playing it.
Yeah. So do you think that there is kind of like a big filter there at the beginning of the game where, like, you get in, you're like, oh, well, I don't really like this sword. I don't really like these powers that I'm picking up. This game's just not for me.
Do you mean for me personally, or like, is that like
just
something
like,
I think?
Is that something you think that people might struggle with if they pick up this game for the first time?
Yeah, I do think so. I don't think this game is ever pretending that it's not going to challenge you, though. I think that from the jump, most people are not going to get anywhere near beating this game on their first run.
Yeah.
And I think that that's a lesson that you learn, and if that bugs you, if that conceptually bugs you, that you're going to start over and you don't have the same power-ups that you had last time.
Yeah.
It could be hard for you, for sure.
Yeah.
But the game, like I said, does a really cool thing in that death isn't such a punishment because you get to do the other parts of the game now.
Yeah.
And those parts are going to help you have more fun in the part you were just playing and died in. It's just this whole circle, and it feeds itself, and like it was so easy for me to just play this game forever.
I think it probably also helps a lot that Zagreus is so like self-motivated and is constantly reminding you as a character and you as a player that, like, we're gonna try again. We're just gonna pick up. We're gonna try again.
Yeah,
we're gonna have fun doing it.
Absolutely. As you were saying that, I'm thinking to myself, man, Zagreus really is like one of the coolest protagonists I think I've ever seen in a game. It's like he's got this real calm, cool thing, but he's also like super badass and like kind of snarky a little bit, but also like kind of a dork.
Yeah, he really is. He comes off as so likable.
Yes,
and he's the son of Hades. He's such a amazing juxtaposition to his dad, who is like, you go to that guy and you're like, you're a dick.
Right, yeah, no, it's got this kind of fun, like, adolescent thing going on where it's like, fuck you, Dad, I'm not gonna listen to you, you know? And it's like, it's that narrative intertwined with, like, repeatedly dying and just like, oh, I'm gonna get him next time, you know? It's like, it works so perfectly, and I playing this game, getting ready to come on this show, I hadn't played it in probably a month or two, and man, I just like every time stepping back in, it's like riding a bike. It's just like it's comfort food. That's what this game is to me, and it's last time I played it on a plane coming from like Florida to coming home, and I hate traveling. I hate planes. It's the worst. I was like, screw it, I'll download it on my phone. And next thing I looked up, I was there, and I was like, well, wait, no, I don't want to get off the plane yet. I'm still playing this game. And I went home and played it on my phone that night. I'm probably gonna go fucking play some after we get off this.
Do it, please. Dog Dude, thank you for the follow. So I this is kind of an interesting concept, but Do you think this game would have went over as well if it were any other mythos? Like, say, if it was like they were all like Indian or Asian gods or anything like that. Or because like the Greek gods are so well known in Western audiences. I don't know. What do you think about that?
That is an interesting question. I think it would have been a harder sell for a lot of people. I think that in like you said, Greek mythology is very widely known, and that lends itself really well to this concept of you are picking up different power-ups from these specific, because you hear Poseidon, you think water. You hear Zeus, you think lightning.
Yes.
You hear Ares, and you're like, that's the war god. So like having that like instant recognition of that kind of thing is sort of important to the way this game is designed. That being said, I think it would work with different mythology, but I think that them making it Greek mythology made it more accessible to a lot of people.
I Published Shadow just mentioned that an Egyptian one would be pretty cool.
Ooh, that would be cool.
Yeah.
Well, did you know the original concept for this game? It was supposed to be Theseus battling his way out of the labyrinth with the Minotaur.
That's pretty cool.
That was the original concept for this game. I watched something about it recently. I can't really remember why they ended up pivoting, but they explained it, and they were saying something about I think it does pertain to like they wanted it to tie in more with the narrative of the game and like why you are returning and stuff.
Yeah.
I think they did that perfectly.
Yeah, I think that's a wonderful way to do it. Okay, well, I asked Shogundi this one last time, and I had a lot of fun with it. If you had to sell this game or convince my mother, who's never played a video game in her life, to play this game, how would you do so?
Well, I don't know a whole lot about your mom, admittedly.
Yeah.
But I would say this game rewards you in a way that feels completely singular, and it looks you in the eye, and it respects your time, and it keeps giving you new motivations, and it's just so much fun. And I think a really lovely thing that is in this game is it's challenging. It's tough. It's a hard game.
Yeah.
You will die many times. That being said, the creators of this game are kind enough people that there is a mode that you can turn on in the settings menu. It is called God Mode. What God Mode does is every time you die, you get a permanent damage buff added onto your character.
Okay.
So this game is accessible even if you are afraid of a game that is a little bit more challenging.
So if you're somebody that doesn't...
Yeah,
so go ahead.
If you don't play a lot of video games, that could be not. It's a tough sell for a video to tell you should play this really hard game.
Yeah.
But it's got story to it. You get to talk to all your little buddies, and they all have really cool voices, and they're all really hot.
It's true.
And
it's true.
There's so many different ways to play this game that I think that. And almost anybody could find one specific style of play of this game that would do something for them.
Yeah.
Because there are 6 different weapons, and all of them have 4 different aspects, which essentially change the mechanics of those weapons.
Yes. Yeah, and it's so crazy because there's 4 buttons to the game. Right? There's 4 buttons. It's not that difficult, but it's what you do with those 4 buttons and how you build your character while you're on a run that really makes the game unique and makes your playthrough unique. And I think honestly, it's the perfect roguelike. It's the perfect
Yeah.
one. I can't think of any other game that's done it that well. And I'm not a big roguelike guy. You know, I played maybe 2 hours of Dead Cells and decided that was enough.
Yeah. I kind of bounced off Dead Cells as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Ethan Viz says Momi said God mode. Sorry.
Oh,
Had to
mommy
get
said
that
God
out.
mode. Yeah. Put the God mode in. Yeah, put the God
Yeah,
mode in.
Dog Dude really wants me to play Slay the Spire.
Yeah,
I'll
I'm
get to
seeing
that
some
eventually.
Slay the Spires. Yeah, that's interesting too because it's a roguelike, yes, but it's a deck builder more
Yeah.
than it is a roguelike, I would say. You know, like Balatro.
Oh, I love Balatro. I gotta play some Balatro. It's been too long, man.
Yeah. I've listened to the soundtrack more than I've played it.
Yeah.
It's,
If you don't mind, would we be able to have just a little quick Hades 2 sidebar?
yeah, absolutely, please.
Okay, have you played any of Hades 2?
I haven't, no.
Okay. I would, if it were me, I'd probably wait till launch at this point. And that's not to say it's a bad game.
Yeah.
It just hasn't hooked me the way that the first one did.
Mhm.
And I think the best analogy I could have for it is like you're offered two doors, right? And behind one door is like your favorite meal. Perfect. Nice size portion, right?
Yeah.
And then behind the other door is like an entire banquet table of plates of your favorite meal.
Okay.
I don't need that much food. Like Hades 2 to me is maybe doing a little too much for me.
Okay.
And I love it. I think it's great. I'm going to continue playing it and keep getting even more into it. But I think I don't want to say too much of a good thing, but it just feels like Hades 1 had a really nice balance of its mechanics and like the back and forth with running versus overworld.
Yeah.
And I think that they are adding a few too many systems in the overworld for me in Hades 2.
Sequels are hard because you basically have to convince the player that, hey, this is better than the game you already own. You know?
Yeah.
And
Supergiant's never done a sequel before. This is their first time doing a sequel.
Yeah. I had a similar experience with Avatar: The Last Airbender's live action, where I wanted to give it a try. I wanted to be like, you know what, they're trying. That might be really cool. Let's give it a try. And you watch it, and you're like, why? I could just watch the original and have a better time.
Yeah. Yeah, and like it's I think I wanted to convince myself that I love it more, but it's a tall order to beat Hades for me. Hades is it's everything. I love this game till the day I die, and I will continue to play it forever.
Well, I love to ask people this. If you had a choice and you could if you could erase all of your memories of this game and play it for the first time again, or you could keep those memories intact, which would you choose?
I would erase my memories and play Hades again.
Okay, all right.
Because you know what? I'm convinced that I would still have just as great of an experience because it's that good of a game.
Yeah.
I played this game to death. I 100%. It's like one of the few games I've 100%ed. I played it that much to that point where I was like, I just got to do it.
Yeah.
Another thing I want to mention in regards to that is, along with the developers adding God mode to make it a little more accessible to people, they also did not make an achievement for beating the game on 32 heat, which is like considered you can go higher than that, but 32 heat is like you get a trophy for doing it. You get an in-game trophy, not an achievement.
Yeah.
But they didn't make an achievement for 32 heat. That being said, I still have beaten 32 heat, but
So it's
I've
like
done
if
pretty
you're
much
trying-
everything this game has to offer.
So yeah, if you're trying to 100% it, then that's not necessary, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, it's not. I'm more than casual. I don't know. Well, see, the thing is, I think when you asked Shogundi that question, he was saying that Shovel Knight is too like formative for him because. Well, okay, so Hades came out in 2018, I think.
Okay, yeah.
I think I played it in 2019 or 2020.
Yeah.
So like this isn't like formative shit for me. Like I've said, it changed the way I look at video games in a lot of ways, but I was still in a similar mindset, and I don't think it would hit in a different way 5 years ago versus now.
Gotcha.
If
okay.
I had picked a game that I had played as a child, that would be a completely different story. Because like, I'm still sort of a similar person to who I was, 5 years ago when I played this game.
I see. So yeah, you're saying that you would probably have the same experience with it now.
Right. I'd have a similar experience and I'd probably fall in love with it. Well, also, something I didn't really consider though in that question is like, it would put a significant dent into my free time, which wouldn't be great as someone who has a Twitch stream.
Yeah, you have a stream, a full-time job, and God's know what else. Yeah.
Yeah, and I definitely did play this game a lot when I was in COVID lockdown. That's for sure.
Yeah. I think about that sometimes too, because I use this as an example, but if I could erase Skyrim from my brain and just play it for the first time, I just would. But then I think like, gods, that was 10 plus years ago. Would I still have the time to appreciate it the way I do now?
10 plus. When did Skyrim come out?
2011.
2011?
It came out November 11th, 2011.
I was gonna say nearly 20, but we're not really that close.
Not yet.
No.
We will be there though someday, and they'll still be selling versions of it, updated versions of it. Yeah. Well, so again, thank you so much for being here. Thanks for hanging out.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. This is I really love what you're doing with this concept. I loved it before, but like I think that the interview nature of it is really cool. And also you're a very good interviewer.
Well, thank you. I'm super glad to hear that. I'm very excited to keep doing this. And if you guys if you guys keep showing up to watch these, we can do this in perpetuity and have a season 2 and all of that.
Hell yeah.
I
you say, chat, more core memories?
We've already got a pretty stacked season 1, and oh
yeah,
man,
you got Corny next, is that right?
Corny next week. We're gonna sit
Corny
down
Midland.
with him. We're gonna sit down with Corny Midland. He was the second ever person I collabed with.
Oh hell yeah.
Yeah, so I think like you and Shogundi and Corny were like, you guys were easy picks. You guys were like, I feel the most comfortable. Obviously Shogundi I know in person, but like I was like, all right, Pug seems like a cool guy. He's not gonna be like, no, loser, get out of here. But yeah, I'm really glad to, and like, bro, you've been collaborating like crazy. I'm very excited. If you guys didn't hear, he's got a really cool new concept show coming up this weekend. What is it?
So I've been working on this concept for a little while now. I wanted to have something on my show where we could have fun and play, and I've felt like making stuff, but I need a little bit of direction with it, I guess. So I've come up with this contest. It's a 1v1 original character contest, and it's called Enter the Octagon. It's largely just because I like buying and wearing costumes. I think that shit's awesome. And I kind of want to do more of that. So gonna be, to start out, it's gonna be me versus another streamer. We both bring a unique character that we created, develop a backstory. It's, you know, sort of D&D in nature, but it's kind of an improv game. With chat interaction. There's a few different trials. You're gonna spin a wheel, and it's gonna be decided. The rules will be explained, and then chat will be involved as well, and chat will decide who is the winner at the end of the day.
Oh, that's fun. That's fun.
Very excited.
And then you'll have this like cast of characters that you can call on ever so often and be like, "Hey, let's get what did you say in your promo? Like Umbrella Man? Let's get Umbrella Man to come back.
Umbrella Boy.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, something I haven't really fully planned this out is I would love for some sort of like skit or sketch or maybe an alert to come out of these Octagon episodes with the winning character or both of them. Just even more collaboration, more fun stuff. And like you said, these characters could come back and show up in various places. And I love the idea of just like letting people really go for it and just make a character. And like I've talked to a few people who are maybe going to do like an animated character. I might do an animated character at some point. And like something I have idealized with this concept is maybe if people are interested enough, I could have streamer versus streamer, and I would just host it.
You do like a kind of almost like what Bad Street's doing over on his channel. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, I think that, I don't know, it's a good excuse to have a little fun. And you know, I've seen other people do. You know, you were just talking about Courtney Midland. Courtney Midland just did Jeopardy over on a show with Neon Sock Media, and that was a fucking blast. Like,
so funny.
So much fun. I think early in my days on Twitch, I really had seen, you know, Bad Blando does he does a couple different game show type things.
Yeah.
And like I don't think he's the person who like started any of that, but that was the first person I saw do something on Twitch that wasn't just playing video games.
Yes.
Not that there's anything wrong with just playing video games.
No.
But I think it's interesting just what this platform has to offer that so many people do not know about. And I've wanted to do something like that, and now I'm finally doing it.
It's funny you mentioned just video games, because with Shogundi's help and, you know, the way he's kind of introduced me to all you, it feels like I've actually fallen into like an artist's space, and I feel very much like the outlier where I'm like, oh, I don't really do like art and stuff like that, but you know, being welcomed into Cartoonia and doing and you talked me into doing the video for the film festival last time. Yes, you did. I remember you be. I remember talking about it. And you being in chat and being
thank
like,
God I said something, because your video absolutely incredible. Holy shit, dude.
Well, and I wasn't gonna do it until you were like, no, you should. Like, it doesn't matter that you can't animate. Just create. I think those are the exact words you said. You said just create, and I was like, okay, I could do that. I could come up with something.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know if you ever ended up seeing some of my earlier, like for this one, I did do an animated thing, and that was the first time I had done an animated thing. I did live action ones for the last couple of film things. Yeah, so I did a couple live action little skit things and decided to take a different route on this one and do an animated character. But like I would have never expected that, like, watching your video, it seemed so natural. Like, it seemed like this is like just another day to you. I don't know if you like can recognize that, but you have a very talented gift of like, I was like, oh, this guy just probably makes shit like this all the time. So it's kind of surprising to me to hear that, like, you just needed a little push.
Well, I got to tell on myself a little bit. Those were all updated,
characters?
yeah, versions of D&D characters. So I was like, okay, what, let's give them a new name and give them a new, human personality. But yeah, actually, I cut a like superhero character for time.
Oh yeah, I think I remember you saying something about that.
Yeah, but yeah. Well, is there anything before I let you go? Is there anything you'd like to plug? Anything you'd like to have people look out for? Obviously, your Twitch channel, but if there's anything else,
No, there's not a ton. I got the thing that I wanted to say out. So yeah, my new concept show is airing on Saturday, 6 p.m. Central.
Very excited.
Enter the Octagon, my very first episode with Mr. Shogundi. You know him, you love him. I love him. He was already on my stream once this week. I didn't really think it just kind of worked out that way.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to really throw him into the ring or anything. LOL, haha, no pun intended. But
the Ace Attorney stuff was so fun too. Like, what a cool concept.
Oh my god, man. We talked a little bit. You were talking about this while you were playing Hades yesterday, but like, I had like a little bit of anxious jitters just because, it's crazy how you can just get nervous about hanging out with friends, but like once we got into that shit, man, it was just electric. I love everybody on these spaces. It's so nice to see everybody get together, and
I know it's
having that
fun.
time is just so important. And I'm glad we all get to share this space together.
Oh yeah, I and I'm sure everybody here in chat was just having an absolute blast. Top 10 out of 10 Twitch moments. Yeah, CJ was hyped the whole time and just like made something on the fly for you guys. That was fun.
Incredible shit by CJ.
Yeah.
CJ is always ready on it. CJ has always got an idea cooking in the back of her brain.
It's insane. I texted CJ and I was like, hey, I've possibly got this idea for a emote. And in like probably half an hour, she came back with this amazing howl emote. And I was like, you just whipped that up? You just whipped it up? Okay, great. Thank you. It was amazing. Well, speaking of D&D, I believe you're going to play very soon.
Oh yeah, I could plug that as well. I will be on the Cartoon Therapy Dungeons and Divorce Dragons. Bum ba bum ba bum ba 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 bum ba bum ba bum ba 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 ba. Next Thursday, April 3rd, I believe, and that is starting at 6 Eastern.
Yes. I'm moving my core memory day to watch it. So we're going to be doing this next Wednesday with Corny.
I'm nervous about that show. I got to be honest. I don't have a ton of D&D experience. I'm hoping I'm just going to try to have fun,
That's the key. Just lean on your character work, and as I've played for a Shogundi campaign, and I'll say he is a very gracious DM, and he lets stuff slide.
I believe it. That checks out.
Yeah. And I came to him with a really weird concept, and he was like, yeah, let's run it. Let's do it. Yeah, it was fun.
You can feel free to answer this live if you want. Is there any chance you'll be at TwitchCon this year?
Ooh, that one's kind of difficult for me. I would love to go. I really want to. I don't know if it's in the budget yet.
Totally fair.
It's in San Francisco? San Diego. Okay. I've only ever been to that side of the country once. And it was I spent a week in Monterey Bay, which is where my partner's parents live.
Okay.
So yeah, don't know much about California. I know it's a long trip, but I would love to. I gotta see if that's something that can fit within. Because you're going, right?
Right. Yeah, that's the plan. I haven't paid for anything yet, but I'm going.
Well, I mean, if you're getting a group together and that makes it a little more doable, I'd love to be included in those plans.
Absolutely. We could chat at some point.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, this has been a total blast. I'm so gracious to have been on the lovely program Core Memories of Sorrow Streams.
Yeah.
Love what you're doing here. So nice to have you around in this space, and it's great to see friends supporting each other.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I'm sure you've seen the love always around.
Yeah, I see the same people in every Twitch channel I'm in.
Absolutely, and it starts to feel so cozy. It's like,
yeah,
I'm hanging out here now, and I'm talking to you, but I'm like looking at chat. All the homies are here.
Yes,
we got Ethan Biz hanging out. CJ's in here. Marty's in here.
I gotta
Hair
say,
Girl's in here. So many great streamers too. I love seeing everybody just start streaming. That's so awesome.
Yeah, if they weren't already, they're starting. I gotta say, you probably are, but are you aware of the dead internet theory? Where basically, like, most of the people you interact with on the internet are bots or like dead accounts that don't really do anything. On like your big social medias and stuff. Yeah, you cannot have your spray bottle back. Nope, not this time. Yeah, well, regardless, the internet has felt so like dead and dull and corporate these days.
Yeah.
And coming back to Twitch has made me realize, like, oh no, all the cool and creative people are here.
Yeah. And it's an interesting thing, because there are I feel like there's so many subsets of people who have various amounts of knowledge about what happens on Twitch. There's a ton of people who watch Twitch and all they watch is XQC, and they're in a chat where the whole thing is flying the entire time.
Yes.
And those people don't even ever experience community on Twitch.
Yes.
Which when I first started watching Twitch was during COVID lockdown. I needed an outlet to be social in, and that just so happened to be the thing that I was drawn to. And now it's completely changed my entire life. And it's Twitch to me, I'm hanging out in streams where there's 20, 30 people, and we're just hanging out and chatting with each other, and people are having conversations amongst themselves, and you go, like you said, you're going into these chats and seeing all the same people, and it's very warm, and it can be very warm.
Yes.
And it can also be very dark and toxic and shitty, but around these parts, we're all lovebirds around these parts.
Yeah, exactly. I know. It's so interesting too, because you mentioned it. This is the first time we've actually spoken. But I have, like I said, orbited around you, and you've been in my chat, and I've been in your chat, and we've both been in Shogundi's or Cartoons chat or Crazy Haired Girl. That I was like, oh yeah, I know that dude. I feel comfortable asking him to sit down and chat with me for an hour about video games.
Oh yeah. I could keep going about Hades. You could get me to never shut up about Hades, honestly.
Well, I appreciate it, and this is I really do appreciate it, because this is exactly what I was looking for, and it's people that are passionate about games. I ran out of gameplay footage. But yeah, people that are passionate about their games.
And there's plenty more where that came from. If Core Memories continues in perpetuity, I'd love to come back and talk about something else.
I'd love to have you back if it's for Core Memories, if it's for something else weird we do down the lane. I'd love to come see you on your show and play some Phoenix Wright,
you'll be there, buddy.
Play some. We'll make a character. Oh man! But all right. Well, I think that does it for the interview. I really appreciate you being here. And yeah, it was. I loved Hades. I'm glad that you loved Hades. And chat, we all loved Hades. Big thank you to Vitamin Pug, and I can't wait to see you on Saturday's the next day you're going live, right?
Saturday, 6 p.m. Central.
6 p.m. Central. Be there. Watch the debut show. It's going to be so good.
It's going to be so much fun. I'm very excited. Hopefully it's not too clunky. We'll find out when we get there.
Well, Shogundi is the perfect guinea pig.
Absolutely.
All right, man. Well, thank you so much, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. This was a
Bye.
blast. Bye, everybody.
Well, team, that was that. What do we think? Did we enjoy the show with our good friend Vitamin Pug? That was so fun. I could talk to that dude all day. I could talk to that dude all P collab. Yeah, I know, it was so good. Vitamin Pug, like I said, I talk to people in my real life about Vitamin Pug like I know him personally, and now I do. Now I do. I can say my good friend Vitamin Pug the other day said this. My music went out. Yeah, I got feed. There it is. There it is. CJ, what? Oh, that's how you're helping with aquarium stuff, by spraying me. I see. All right, I see. Guys, we're gonna have to end this show so we can quit the abuse. We had a really good time with Vitamin Pug today. I'm very excited. Come back next Tuesday/Wednesday when we play Corny Midlawn's Jet Set Radio Future. I'm very excited. This is another one that I've played. This one is very much like a core memory game for me. Hello. 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 I don't know what to do with my hands. That's stupid. Bip. Okay. From Trivial. No. We will. Okay. This game's so special to them. So special to discover the experiences. Do I need to be more animated? You How's my lighting? And you probably have experience, or cock, more energy, more passion, more energy. Over the next few weeks, we're gonna be playing these video games. So you gotta look at the camera, stupid. I hope you'll all join me on this journey to rub my hands together, because I don't know what to do with my hands. You'll get my thoughts and first impressions live. No. Fuckity fuck. Why am I so bad at this? Bye. Bye. Goodbye.